I believe a cabal of secret societies has controlled the world for 200 plus years, and we get to be alive at a time to see it fall. I believe in the power of one person working as a team with other Christian patriots can have massive impact in reversing this ungodly culture. I believe that we have an omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent God that has put his hand on this moment in time to deny the timeline of the enemy and is about to heal our land. This is Rick, your host, and I believe that God has called me to empower Christian patriots with truth. Join us now for the Blessed to Teach show, and let's see what God is doing today.
Deception floods our airwaves, but Faith and Freedom TV fights back with truth. Our bold content, news, shows, Bible teachings, worship, and films shines with biblical conviction and patriotic courage, free from globalist lies. We empower Christian patriot creators to share faith and liberty. Access thousands of videos on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android, and iOS. Join the battle at faithandfreedom.tv.
Yes, it's Rick, B2T here. We're going to be empowering Christian patriots with truth the next few hours, including word and worship after the show. So join us there. But we're going to be talking about Decode Melania's outfit. What's that maroon hat mean? What's that cool outfit? Let's look at that to hold Decode to that, and we're going to look at new Declass. Adam Schiff being completely exposed. That's interesting. We have an economic update when Kirk Elliott comes on, as well as go to word and worship tonight. But let's talk a little bit about what we just saw there on Faith and Freedom. Guys, we have now exclusive content I'll be putting up tonight or early in the morning. A new interview with Larry Ballard, who gives his thoughts on Charlie Kirk, as well as what that really means, how that ties to everything that's going on, what his recommendations are, some of the economic updates, what's happening in reality. So you only find the new exclusive content that only will be found on faithandfreedom.tv. It's real easy to get to. Any phone or any browser, you can to the web app. The web app's awesome. You just type in faith with the N, freedom.tv. Right? That's how easy it is to get there from any phone, any web. So that web app is incredibly simple. And then if you want a little better experience, you can download it on your TV, Android, Roku, Fire TV, Android TV, and your phone on your Apple or iOS, the Play Store or the Apple Store. So make sure you get that downloaded. It's exciting, exclusive content going on there now. I think there's 4 shows from Larry there when I upload this tonight and tomorrow morning. All right, let's get going on looking at what of this Decode and what's happened with this royal visit, etc. So some breaking news on that is Trump in the UK, live updates, royals toast special relationship. King Charles jokes about Nixon at the state dinner. This is just interesting that based upon the Q drops what the royal family is really about, right? It's about as pure as the Rothschilds, right, or the Rockefellers, or the Carnegies. When you really go back and look and see their Luciferian type of practices and what they've done to the people is a globalist joke, right? Is what it really is. And so Trump, when he went on his capitulation tour, was standing in front of the Queen. We just did a huge decodes on all that, right? And so this is more of a secular article here, but talking about the king hosts a glittering white tie state dinner tonight where Trump is seated between His Majesty and Kate, Prince of Wales. Trump is the first U.S. president to make 2 state visits to the United Kingdom, Queen Elizabeth II hosted his first in 2019. So we saw this in the capitulation tour, right, where he went from 2017, late 2018 to 2019, where he went all over, including North Korea, crossing the demilitarized zone. And that was all signals to the cabal that we have it all on you, and you better start participating, right? And there's been this way now to I believe, infiltrate the infiltrators, to expose this deep state of what's, and it's this globalist cabal of Luciferians, really, is what this all has to do with. But this is just, again, the secular articles talking about Trump's UK visit says, how British royal family is lavishing Trump with dazzling pomp and circumstance on his historic visit. Now, they treated him like nobody else. So it is kind of interesting. It shows you that there's got to be some type of white hat patriot control going on here. And an example of that would be here. And so I'm going to turn up the volume here. With the king in front. I've never seen anything this any other U.S. president. Some type of control going on here. Part of what I believe happened with the capitulation of building back. Other things he's talking about, talking about King Charles Kirk, the special relationship between the U.S. Yeah, that's Trump. Here. I'm sure I saw the Trump around this corner. Looks like it's not going to show. Cut off. But again,
we couldn't hear anything but the horses.
Yeah, that's all it was. That was just the horses. Yeah.
No, but I mean, we couldn't hear you when you were trying to.
Okay. Don't worry. I got it. So what we have here, guys, is that's why I had to turn that off. So King Charles joked that the special relationship between the U.S. and UK has been so good in the past decades that he nearly married a Nixon. So this is interesting. When you just know how evil these people are, you just wonder why is Trump doing this? What's the messaging? And part of it is Melania's outfits. 107 always talks about that, right? So we're going to get to that in just a second. But let's see. Now, from my part, I've always admired the ingenuity of the American people and the principles of freedom, which your great democracy has represented since the inception throughout my life, and the very first time to visit the United States in the 1970s. And there were like 20 visits, the king said. So again, if you know anything about St. Charles and what most people know, this is not a man that is after our best interest. He's a pure globalist, and if some of the prophets are right, he really did some evil things to get into power. But anyway, so he's basically talking about. He says, since that time, I've cherished a close tie between the British and American people. In fact, had the media succeeded in the 1970s in their own attempt to deepen the special relationship, I myself might have married off with the Nixon family. Former President Nixon was rumored to have attempted to set up his daughter Tricia in the prince at the time. So anyway, and then what I wanted to get here is here's a little bit about Melania's outfit.
Lady stepped out in a tailored Dior jacket and skirt topped with a dramatic plum disc hat, perfectly matching Kate Middleton's maroon coat dress and chic Jane Taylor hat. The two royals of style walked side by side in jewel tones and structured silhouettes, making diplomacy look like high-fashion royalty. Forget politics. Plum and maroon just stole the spotlight at Windsor. Rate her look on a...
So that's kind of interesting, but here's a better picture of it. You can see Melania's outfit here. It's like this gray outfit. and it's got this maroon hat, and we're going to be digging into that because that's what a lot of the anons look at. They say that basically Trump is messaging with the outfit of his wife. And there's a lot of that. If you buy Juan O'Savin's books, right, he goes in through a lot of this decoding of these different outfits. And so there's a lot of anons taking guesses right now. So that's the best we can do. I did want to let you know that that Kirk's going to be coming on, and that's who's sponsoring this episode. So Kirk Elliott, we just did a whole show with Larry talking about silver and what it's going to most likely do when they go to the gold standard. And to understand that and get a free consultation, call Kirk at 720-605-3900. That's 720-605-3900. Kurt is an amazing guy and going to be talking about some pretty fun economic stuff here in a bit. I wanted to get to the Decode. So this is looks like I put this in the wrong order. Let me find it real quick. This is the burner phone and stuff here. Hopefully I still have that open. Boy, there it is all the way over here. So I'm going to move that over so in the show notes it'll be in the right order for you guys. So by the way, you get free show notes where I show you every single thing that I have here. So what this is the Melania outfit theories. Okay, so this screamed through and analyzed what the anons were saying on X, right? So from basically a Q perspective, people that are anons from that time and did a bunch of analysis. So hat and as projection against spying and betrayal, because we know the whole Russia thing. There's a bunch of Declass I'm going to talk about in a second that just came out today, which was not a coincidence probably. That the whole spying operation is being outed on Schiff and how he had a whole staff to leak stuff out to basically try to overthrow Trump. So they think that this hat is a projection against spying and betrayal. Recent posts on X keep pointing out how Melania's hat, with its low brim covering her eyes, let me see if I can go back to that real quick. See, there it is. So you can see that it's covering her eyes. Like a little spy hat, right? That's kind of what they're talking about. It seems like a way to see without being seen. It's like she's staying alert while hiding from the cabal and their spying networks. People online this week say the hat shows her watching out for her family, especially after the enemies tried to do at Mar-a-Lago, raid targeted them. The hat acts like a shield, letting her observe without being noticed, connected to QAnon phrases like watch the water and hints about British spies at Windsor. New ideas suggest the hat's design fuels rumors of a body double, meaning it might be disguised to keep the real Melania safe from surveillance or danger in elite settings. Some even joke it's a decoy trick to confuse anyone watching her. So that's kind of some of the things that people are talking about, just the hat. Now, other people are talking about serious and revengeful vibes. Melania's strict, high-necked gray suit, a sharp hat, give off a serious, almost scary vibe. Again, I'm going to come back to that again. There it is, that right. And so, or a cold government agent, but fans on QAnon forums call it bold warning to globalists, like saying mess with us and regret it. Or some people use FAFO, right? F around and find out. A newer post link the dark colors and hat's sharp edge to a Zorro-like sense. You know, Zorro in his hat when he's there, of justice, trying to tie it to Trump's recent V for vendetta messages. They see Melania as a quiet avenger, ready to fight back after things like the FBI raid. Her calm, unreadable face seems aggressive now, with one popular post saying her hidden eyes mean she knows who you are without looking, giving off a mysterious, threatening vibe tied to stories of holding elite accountable. Boy, do we want that, don't we? Another person was talking about this, just tying back to Princess Diana and a tribute to that, of the anti-royal message. Many think think Melania's wide hat look like the one Princess Diana wore in Munich in 1987, which hid her face and stole attention from Prince Charles. And again, I don't have the picture of that, but it was similar to Melania's hat. Online groups say this puts Melania on Team Diana, quietly standing against the Windsor Kamala and the powerful families like the Rothschilds. The purple or maroon color flips royal symbols to show change and defiance. Some newer posts say the purple also nods to Queen Elizabeth II's favorite color, mixing rebellion against today's royals with respect for the late Queen as the people's ruler. They think it's a bold move to grab attention like Diana did, while the gray suit helps her blend in like a gray man to secretly challenge elite groups, reminding them of Diana's supposed fight against the cabal. And the last one that talks about is spy and Inspector Gadget jokes, right? So after the visit, people online started joking that Melania's outfit looks like a spy disguise, comparing that hat to something Inspector Gadget would use to dodge enemies or gather secrets. This fits with QAnon's trust the plan idea, hinting that she's of a hidden mission against the cabal at Windsor. Some lighter posts now mix the body double theory, saying that the outfit a decoy tool for secret moves. Others connect her to the 2018 Egypt photos, which seems to hint at villains or symbol secrets. Other people see it as a way to show she's staying safe and sharp during a tense diplomatic event. So anyway, those are kind of like 4 different looks at what Anons are saying about the. Let me know what you think. If any of those make sense to you, what do you think Melania's outfit is really pointing to right there? Right, you can see here they are walking off after they arrived on the helicopter, and this is going to be an interesting. I think we're going to get all kinds of analysis over the next 24 hours based upon what goes on there, just like we did in 2019 when he visited the Queen. All right, let me get to this. So this is the big news, guys, that is most people will miss, and that is the Declass is continuing to happen. Right, this is Paul Sperry article. Breaking weaponized scoops. New Russiagate documents expose media government collusion. Did we all know this? Yes. Do we have details of it? No, but we now do. We really do. And this article is just so long and ugly that most people won't read it. So you'll just see this goes on and on and on. It'll be in the show notes for those of you who like to read and dig into details. But it doesn't do a very good job summarizing either. So I had AI summarize it for me, digging into and trying to figure out, okay, and I had to go through multiple rounds to get it kind of in what I wanted in like an 11th grade English, and it was summarized. I didn't want more than 7 points because it had like 14, 13 points. And I got it down to these top 7 points of an extremely long article that it's a lot of new information that we did not have before. That's what's exciting about this, okay? I'll see if I can get this a little bit bigger for your mobile phones. And see if you guys will be able to read this. Doesn't do real well. This Grok viewer doesn't do real well. It looks like it's the biggest I can get it without really making it where it's not scrolling correctly. So that's going to be the biggest I can get it. I said Schiff's alleged impeachment plot. This is cool, guys. A previously sealed FBI informant testimony revealed that Representative Adam Schiff in February of 2017. Again, Trump just got in on January 20th, right? So he hadn't even been in for a few weeks. And here's what Schiff doing. He orchestrated a plan to weaponize U.S. intelligence to smear President Trump as a Kremlin conspirator, explicitly aiming to trigger his impeachment. He hadn't even been in office 2 weeks, okay? The informant identified Robert Meinhardt, alleged Schiff authorized leaking classified dirt on Trump during the February 13th, 2017 staff meeting to indict him, as documented in the email Meinhardt sent himself. So here you have literally leaks going on February 13th when he entered the office on January 20th in 2017. Okay? That's the first major reveal, a new FBI informant. What else did we learn? Schiff's Russia team for leaks. He formed a Russia team within the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, the HPSCI. So he's using government funding, government things to create a Russia team, including staffers Ryan Wikala, Timothy Bergreen, Michael Bahar, and Patrick Boland. So we have the names of this Russia team to access and leak classified CIA and FBI material on Trump, allegedly to undermine his presidency. Obviously to undermine his presidency. This is treason, guys. Complete treason. Schiff and his team, and his Russia team that he put together. What else did we learn? Comey's classified leaks via conduit. So Daniel Richman, a close friend of former FBI Director James Comey, was used as a conduit to leak classified memoranda of Comey's meetings with Trump to New York Times reporter Michael Schmidt with the intent to shape media coverage against Trump. Richman was investigated but denied leaking classified information. But now we have more information coming out in this Declass confirming that. Here's another one, the media collusion with leakers. So now we know that reporters from the New York Times and Washington Post, including Ellen Nakashima and Michael Schmidt, allegedly received classified leaks from individuals close to Comey and Schiff to advance the Russiagate narrative within their 2018 Pulitzer Prize-winning stories, now shown to rely on debunked or misleading information. They got Pulitzer Prize for lying and taking treasonous information from our government. That's the fourth thing. The fifth thing, Eric Swalwell alleged leak role. The whistleblower claimed that within 24 hours of Representative Eric Swalwell receiving a CIA document, its contents appeared nearly verbatim in a July 1st, 2017 Wall Street Journal article by Shane Harris, suggesting Swalwell's involvement in leaking classified information to damage Trump. This is Swalwell and Comey and Schiff and the Russia team all working together, and this is now new information that's been declassed for us, so we can show what we've been talking about so long is actually now becoming undeniable. Botched investigations and obstruction. 7 FBI and DOJ leak investigations targeted Obama officials, Schiff, Swalwell, and journalists failed to result in prosecutions, possibly intentionally, as they avoided seeking communication content, ignored encrypted app, and were hampered by claims of immunity under the speech or debate clause, particularly protecting Michael Bahar. So they closed down, so they created a fake investigation on Trump, everything with a Russia team, and they closed down anything on their own people. So people like Obama, Schiff, Swalwell, and journalists, anything that the FBI or DOJ found that was incriminating against them, it all got dropped. The seventh and last one on this is leaking network and media silence. Leaks were funneled through cutouts like Rihanna Wiklaw's husband, Ian Duncan, and continued via Michael Bahar's protege, Tom Eager, while the Washington Post and New York Times have ignored declassified documents exposing the Russiagate hoax, with Nakashima allegedly using a burner phone to target DNI Tulsi Gabbard, who reopened the probe. Guys, this is burner phone. You remember me? This has been 8 years. So we've been talking about this for quite some time, right? So it was 7 years ago, 2018, we were reporting on the burner phones. And you probably remember that. So here's the Q drop. The first one we had that talked about it was Q1221 that actually talked about this, right? So it was on, it's March 21st, 2018. So that's over 7 years ago, right? And it says, hello, Maggie. Talking about Maggie Haberman of the New York Times. Then she went to Political, I believe. But it says, Trust Funds 3. Deposits routed from the EU. See, this is all coming, European Union. This is all Brussels. This is all the globalists. This includes, probably the king was in on it. Why are deposits originating from the EU being transferred to 3 trust funds, children? How do you get your talking points? And so if you research, you find Maggie Haberman, sure enough, had 3 kids. And she had 3 trust funds being sent from the EU, funded by the EU. It says, why do many journalists, yourself, use and replace burner phones every week? So we learned about burner phones in 2018. How do you pass the new number out? Tweets are very important. Do you feel safe? Q. So they had DMs, and they would tweet new phone numbers for the burner phones, right? And then they'd throw them away each week and get another phone. And we saw another talk. Let me just redo that. So you can just, this is qag.news. You can do this yourself. qag.news. I went and typed burner phone here and hit enter. You can see it came up with these two. And here is 1588, which is from 6/26/2018. It's a coincidence. Review image location. Nothing provided is random. SFO, JFK, A31 direct Q. And he replied to this one talking about the signals that they're sending, right? And obviously talking about these different assassination attempts, etc. Attempts still made, averted. And I think we believe there's many assassination attempts in Trump's first term. We reported on those day by day as they were coming up. Do you believe it's a coincidence? Extreme rhetoric is being pushed while at the same time RR is on a brink of collapse. Define. RR must either comply with all documents demand or face impeachment. Two-way failure. This is when they put Rod Rosenstein in a bad position, right? Where if he complies, he fails. Self-implication. No one conflict. If he fails to comply, he gets impeached, removed. Why no DOJ text disclosed to the public? And then this is talking about all these text messages that would be sent. RR to LL. That's most likely Rod Rosenstein to Loretta Lynch. LL to H. That'd be most likely Loretta Lynch to Hillary. It's talking X to X, and this talking about all the others. I think that's just more like many, like Obama to people, everything. JC to LL, 247 relevant. So this is talking about James Comey to Loretta Lynch, and again they were going to make Loretta Lynch on this, I believe, on the Supreme Court, or make her some power, give her some powerful position, I believe. LL is key to connecting to White House. HRC, BC, JB, JC, SPEH. So everybody's kind of decoded these in the past, but it's Hillary Rodham Clinton, Bill Clinton. I think that JB might be Jeb Bush. You guys let me know, or that James Comey, or it could be you got so many different people here that I can't remember exactly what these guys are. You guys will let me know if you as we decoded all this way back 7 years ago. Where are JC/AM text messages? Gmail messages? So they would actually open up Gmail and they would keep it as a draft, but same people had the password to it, so they could go and it would never get sent. But people that had the password to Gmail could go see in the draft Gmail the messages that were, but that was one method. But the other method, there it is, burner phone messages. So this is interesting, isn't it? Call polls coming soon to a theater near you. So this is getting exciting, guys. This Declass is coming. Everything's coming back to the Q post. It's coming soon to a theater near you. PS/LP. That's obviously Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, who were the two lovers that were having affairs on their spouses while they were sleeping together and trying to be the insurance policy against Trump. Texts are only, they say that the Peter Strzok, Lisa Page texts are only scratching the surface. This is when those were first coming out. Threats of assassination. They've been trying to assassinate Trump for a long time. We need to be praying for his safety when he's traveling on these trips. They are preparing for this by actively progressive activists. Red line. Once the documents are supplied and viewed by Senate and congressional leaders and the public, they lose. Setup, scam, FISA, abuse of executive powers, illegal spying, frame, insert assets. So let me ask you, when is this happening? Once the documents are supplied and viewed by public and Congress and the public. That's us. We're seeing it now. The Declass is happening right before our eyes. Woo! So what's going to happen? So let's read this again. Once the documents are supplied and viewed by Senate and congressional leaders and the public, that's happening now. We're seeing it. They lose. Setup, scam, FISA, abuse of executive powers, illegal spying, frame, insert assets. That's the spies they had there, like Halper and everybody. Prevent at all costs. Traitors, all. They know we know. But until the public knows, it is contained. It's been contained for these last 7 years. The people have the power. We finally woken up enough people to make this powerful. We're shows like this. That's why I asked you to thumbs this up, share this. We got to get this stuff out. Make sure you're subscribed. MSM will portray progressive activists as a large part of the pop. This is false. No possibility of compromise. Do not underestimate our resolve. We stand at the ready. Woo! Q. That is a couple posts talking about burner phones, right? Again, that is post 1588 in June of 2018, and then also 1221, both talking about burner phones. And what do we get in the Paul Sperry? We get to learn about burner phones as well. So that's why I wanted to make sure you guys knew that right here, that this Nakashima, who again it was with I believe was it New York Times, and used burner phones to target DNI Tulsi Gabbard, who reopened the probe against her. It's like, yes, the real information's finally coming out, and we can be excited about that. Here's FBI director testifies before the Senate. Here's Kash Patel talking about some things. Let's listen.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Durbin, and members of the committee. It's an honor to be here with you today as the 9th Director of the FBI. I want to provide by providing a briefing into the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's important that this FBI is transparent as possible without jeopardizing investigations. Charlie Kirk was shot at 12:23 p.m. on September 10th. I think this timeline is critically important. Less than a day later, the FBI at my direction released the first set of images of the suspect that we captured based on our analysis on the ground. Later that evening, while conducting extensive interviews and cell phone analysis, and also flying out evidence response teams and hostage rescue teams and evidence tacticians who were collecting evidence in live time and flying them back to Washington, D.C. in our laboratories for immediate analyses, we were able to extract video from the campus feed, and at my direction at 8 p.m., in partnership and promise to working with the public to bring this fugitive to justice, we released a newly never before seen video of the suspect. We also released new enhanced photos of the suspect. Good morning, Mr.
So you can see, guys, I just want to post a little bit about what Kash Patel is doing, because there's this huge left-wing talking point, is that during this crisis, the FBI failed and Kash could not showed that he was not capable of being a leader. He lacked the experience. So they're doing everything to poison the well on here. And it's clearly not holding with anybody that's not sitting there watching Rachel Maddow or Anderson Cooper every night, right? It's like it's not working,
Mr. Chairman,
at all. Here he is again, another clip. Let's listen to this.
And that's why that suspect is in custody.
Short clip.
But I do want to thank the American people especially. The mission of the FBI is for them and with them and by, with, and through them. And it's that mission and that ethos that I brought to this investigation and so many others, and that's why that suspect is in custody. We cannot do our job without the American public and credible reporting in the media, and that's why Tyler Robinson is in custody today, about to face charges.
So, and one of the reasons I really wanted to bring this part up, guys, is because there's a lot of narratives out there that this is a fake White Hat operation. Derek Johnson has all kinds of things saying it's not even his wife that was talking. That's not Charlie Kirk's wife. Look at the difference in the pictures. And there's people saying, I got another video saying that it's clear that we see a bullet, that he was shot from this side, and that was an exit wound. And others saying that it was a completely fake thing. So there's all kinds of theories out there. And again, White Hat, he's still alive, and it was faked, all the way to it was planned in a Black Hat operation, and what we're being told is a complete lie. I just don't think this is one thing that I think that you logically, I don't believe that when at the time we're trying to reestablish faith in the public, in the FBI, in the DOJ, that we would fake an assassination. I just don't think we would do that. And so I believe that this was just a Black Hat operation of some sort. I'm sure they had contact, whether it was MK Ultra or was some type of way with all those guys doing signals and behind him and everything. It's kind of fishy. So I think it's more than just a narrative, but I believe that we'll find that out, and I believe and I trust Dan Bongino and Cash. That's where I am. You guys let me know what you think, because there are tons of things out of there. I think bunny rabbit rails that will take us off where the Lord wants us to be, and that is praying for this president, praying for the restoration of the company, and pray for the unity. We got to get people off the left-wing media. We don't want them going down massive bunny trails and making us look like crazies, saying that, oh, this is a double that was that Kirk's wife. That's not, and I think going down that route is not achieving our objective of waking up the left. That is what's going to happen. Remember, Q told us that the kids, and once they see the evil of what they've done to the kids, it's going to unite this country, right and left. And we're starting to see parts of that. Many people coming, they're no longer Democrats, are moving to come to truth, right? And again, I don't like to talk about right and left as much as the cabal being exposed. That's what the Declass is all about, right? So let's get this information out about this Declass and not have so much focus on it's not Charlie's wife, right? Or that the FBI is lying to us. Again, we're trying to restore trust in the new FBI as we expose the old FBI, right? The Biden FBI and all the way back. And so if we trust Cash, we trust the Ben Bongino. I just want to go down that route, because then it's like Praying Medic said, then don't be surprised if they don't believe you about Spygate. If you're trying to sit there and say the FBI is lying to us about the Charlie Kirk thing. I just don't recommend you going down that path. There's so much we can focus our energy and time on, and that is talking about Mockingbird Media and waking up people and getting them off Anderson Cooper and getting them off Rachel Maddow. Right? That would be my recommendation of where you spend time and energy versus watching Derek Johnson talk about that everything's fake and that we don't have to worry about civil law whatsoever. That's just not right. I love Derek. He's been on the show. We'll keep having him on because I love getting different perspectives. But that's just my recommendation on time that you're spending and energy that you're spending. All right.
But I do want to thank the American people, especially.
Turn that
the mission
off and go to this one here. This is interesting. It's just talking about the left wing versus right wing violence, and I think it's interesting.
We've heard years of the left, their loudest voices calling anyone on the right extremists, MAGA Republicans, fascists, Nazis, an existential threat to democracy. Check yourself, and don't give me this both sides bullshit. Mr. Director, I want to ask you. Tell me if each one of the following perpetrators or alleged perpetrators were acting from a left-wing or right-wing political violence. The man who tried to kill Republican congressman at the congressional baseball practice, nearly killing House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Left-wing or right-wing violence?
Sir, I believe it was a left-wing ideology.
Okay. Burned down cities during the Summer of Love in the George Floyd riots. Left-wing violence or right-wing violence?
Sir, I'll rely on you on these. I don't have off the top of my head.
Okay, left wing. The Waukesha Christmas Parade massacre, left wing or right wing violence? Left wing. The Lee Zeldin stabbing attempt, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Covenant school shooting in Nashville, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt on President Trump, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Trump International West Palm Beach assassination attempt, left wing. The Abundant Life Christian school shooting, left wing. The United Care CEO's murder, left wing. Tesla's burned, keyed, damaged, firebombed, left wing, left wing. The murders at the Israeli embassy, left wing. The ICE facilities firebombed, left wing. The Minnesota Catholic school shooting, left wing. The anti-white Charlotte and North Carolina stabbing, left wing. The attempted Utah News State firebombing, left wing. And now, of course, the culmination of this vile trend, a left-wing assassination of Charlie Kirk. So don't give me this both sides. If we want to get to unity, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Free speech, yes. Political violence, no. But let's be honest.
Yeah, but this is, I know what you hear on left-wing media is just the opposite. That it's all white supremacists, and that Charlie Kirk is a white supremacist is what I'm talking to some people on Facebook about right now. Right? It's just a joke. When you really look at his love for people, the amount of black people, and he did black conferences that funded them coming to the White House. There's so much to show that, but that's what their job is to lie, call everybody a racist, so that we can get to this 50-50 and fight each other, right? Left, right, fight each other. The media's job is to destroy us and to control the minds of millions of people. Here's Blaze Media, where Glenn Beck comes in to do the Charlie Kirk show, and what do? They end up calling bomb threats in. Another part of this violence on the left thing that we're just seeing. Here's another example where Kate Miller, Stephen Miller's wife, wakes up and they have all kinds of threats on their sidewalk.
You know, Sean, and we've known each other a while, but the morning after our dear friend Charlie was assassinated, I take a step out on my porch and I had a lady out there saying, "I'm watching you." They then doxed my family by distributing flyers all over our neighborhood saying that my husband, Stephen Miller, is a Nazi, is a war criminal, and had our home address. They spread it all over our neighborhood and have continued to do so, not only at my children's parks, but around town. And as you and I both know, what they're intending to do is not just peacefully protest. And maybe these people are not the assassins, but they are inciting the same violence that we saw take out our friend Charlie Kirk last week. I will not sit idly by while anyone else is murdered. I will not sit idly by while they come after my friends, while they come after the people who are fighting for our fellow Americans. If President Trump has taught us anything after Butler, is we stand up and we say, fight, fight, fight. And to the people who are standing outside my home and writing chalk and trying to intimidate and scare us and make my children stay in our house, I say no more. I say my children and I will live free, and you will not get to do so.
Yeah, so there's a lot of talk about this right now. And so here's MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, basically talking about a national divorce between the right and the left states. I just don't think I think it's more emotional what she was really talking about. She says, nothing left to talk about with the left. They hate us, Greene wrote on social platform X. To be honest, I want a peaceful national divorce. Our country is too far gone to be and too far divided, and it's no longer safe for any of us. Now I disagree with this. I want everybody to know that my passion has been to win over people on the left, win over people that are sleeping, so they understand this is the cabal versus we the people, not right versus left, right? Not black versus white, not class warfare. This is warfare at a spiritual perspective against a Luciferian cabal that controls this globalist wanting to destroy America, because they can't have a one world government with a strong, united America. The last thing they want is us to unite. And but so she's emotional here. She says that they assassinated our nice guy who actually talked to them peacefully, debating ideas. Greene wrote in her social media post Monday. Then millions on the left celebrated and made it clear they want us all dead. So that is interesting, isn't it? I will pray for the left, but personally, I want nothing to do with them. And the Democrats are hardened in their beliefs and will flip the switch back as soon as they have power, she wrote. And if you are expecting Republicans to fight against evil with the power they currently possess, and then this once for all, you are going to be extremely disappointed. Talking about our current Congress and House and Senate, right? Government is not the answer. God is, she wrote. That part I agree with for sure. God is our answer. That's right. Here you see, I deeply regret ABC News reporter apologized after Charlie Kirk comments. So this guy is an idiot. I mean, look, he's basically looking at the messages I read to you last night, where they were talking my love to each other, right? And he termed it is Matthew Gutman. Basically, he said that a suspected assassin and his transgender boyfriend were touching, that the text messages were touching. What? Oh my goodness. And so he had to apologize for that, thank goodness, but just shows you how messed up this woke culture is, right? You have somebody that's deranged enough to go kill in cold blood a person that just wants to discuss ideas and unite the country around truth. That's what Charlie was all about. And again, it's all backfired on them. Over 37,000 requests for new chapters of Turning Point USA, and it's exploding. They're having vigils for him all over all the different chapters that are already existing, like 900 at college campuses, 1,200 on high school campuses. That could be 5-10x here shortly. And if the growth of within the existing chapters, you could have a growth that is a 30, 60, 100 type growth. What Charlie dreamed of is actually happening as he's witnessing it from the cloud of witnesses. Amazing time. But what does Obama do? He implies Trump to blame for Charlie Kirk's assassination. Extreme views were not in my White House, he said. So yeah, it's extreme views. Anything you talk against the globalist cabal trying to destroy this country, you're extreme. Right? You're a white supremacist, you're a nationalist, you're a racist if you love your country and love your, I was on Facebook just the other day, and a person, because I was defending the truth about Charlie Kirk, showing clips about what he really meant versus what the Mockingbird media tell them what to think. And he's calling me, you're a Christian nationalist, you're in a cult. And I go, so the definition of a Christian and the definition of a nationalist is somebody who loves their country and loves their Lord. That is, and you call that a cult? If you love Jesus, you love your country, you're in a cult. That is what the talking points use white supremacists, racist, Christian nationalists as weaponized terminology, and they brainwash. They actually make the people not think for themselves, and they use those same terms on their social media, saying what Rachel Maddow saying what Anderson Cooper saying what they heard on the Morning Joe show, right? This is sad. Now, unfortunately, we have a lot of talking points that go on Fox News as well for the right, so they get us to fight, and we're not talking about the globalists. We have to talk about the globalist control, because remember, these globalists control the rhinos, and the establishment right is worse than the establishment left, because they act one way when they're doing the opposite, right? I see Kirk's on now, so I wanted to move over. This is a good time to move over to talk about an economic update, because, guys, it's important to know that this cabal is going down. We can tell from the Declass, right? And when that Babylonian financial system crashes, it's going to be a beautiful thing. And we've seen silver that I've been talking about since it went $22 or $23 up to $42. But that could be nothing compared to what it could be, right? That's what's exciting. So protecting your wealth and getting a free consultation is a big part of why I have Kirk come on, for one reason. But the other reason is just get economic update. What in the heck's going on? So Kirk, tell us a little bit about what's going on. You're still muted.
Sorry.
There you go.
Technologically challenged, right?
Yeah.
Literally crazy times that we're living in right now. And so today, though, first time since Trump has been president, Jerome Powell capitulated and he lowered interest rates, right? So this is good. Yeah. And so my phone has been blowing up all day long, right? Because people are saying, Kirk, you said that this was going to cause gold and silver to go up, and it didn't. It's like, okay, you're wrong. It's like, okay, I'm not wrong, but here's why, right? So when you lower interest rates, it's like a well-known certainty that gold and silver are going to go up, right? I would put it on the same level as, all right, if you're sitting on your couch eating 3 pizzas a day and don't ever exercise, you're going to get a little chunky, right? Same thing. When interest rates come down, gold and silver go up. It's just common knowledge. So why didn't they then? So here's where I think what's happening. So you've got big banks like JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, HSBC, that have massive short positions, Rick, like massive ones. And so they know that what did Powell say? We're not just going to do a one-off rate decrease. We're going to do one next month and the month after too. We're going to do 3 quarter-point rate reductions. So what does that mean? Gold and silver are going to go up in price. What are these big banks doing? It's too early to tell because we haven't seen the commitment of traders and the open interest and things like that on the futures markets. But I have a feeling they were unloading and unwinding their short positions today to get out of Dodge because they know that gold and silver are going to go up in price. And if they kept these short positions open, they were going to lose money hand over fist. So therefore, you had selling pressure today, but I think it's going to be very short-lived. Why? Because you look at some massive technical indicators and fundamental forces that are facing us right now. There's a researcher that I follow, Jesse Colombo. He's got the Bubble report on X. Brilliant. Like, he's absolutely brilliant. I think he's one of the best gold and silver's commodities analysts that I know. Right. So he said we're about to enter into a volatility squeeze, not just in gold, not just in silver, but what is a volatility squeeze? If you were to look at it on a chart, you've got these prolonged period of kind of going sideways highs, that just the resistance point. It's like this sideways, but the lows are getting higher and higher. So it ends up looking like a baseball pennant, right? Just a long triangle that ends in a peak. Well, when you break above that peak at the end, that's the breakout. That's the end of the volatility squeeze, and silver and gold go through the roof, right? But so he's saying we've got a volatility squeeze because of the global debt, the stimulus money, the inflationary pressures, everything that we're seeing in gold, in silver, in copper, in the Japanese yen US dollar pair, which means we're going to see all of these things start to skyrocket, right? And so we've got to think about what else are we seeing. In silver in particular, we're $5 away from the high, all-time high, right? The all-time high is 48, and yesterday we were at 43. Doesn't take too much to get past that all-time high. So when we hit 48, almost a guarantee in a world where there's no guarantees, it's going to be a very strong resistance point, right? That's going to hit there and it's going to kind of bop around for a little bit because it's going to have, how do we get through? Why do we have those kind of patterns? Right? It's because you've got algorithms and high frequency traders, right? And these computer things that say, okay, this is the top of the Bollinger Band. This is the top of the resistance point. And when you get to that point, it puts in selling orders. So then it comes down a little bit. And then people say, oh, look at the prices come down a little bit. I'm going to buy. And then that causes it to go up, right? So this is how the mechanics of the markets work. Well, at some point, the people, you and me, buyers, not computers, say, we need it. Sony needs it. Samsung needs it. Lockheed Martin needs it. And the price goes through that resistance point, and that resistance point becomes the new floor. Here's what's exciting about how close we are to that is after that, computer algorithms don't work anymore, right? Because they test for patterns in pricing. There isn't any because we've never been that high before, right? So this is where you could start to see the price just absolutely skyrocket, go through the roof. Now, Jesse Colombo, in another report that I was reading just 2 days ago, said that this volatility squeeze, could cause silver to hit $50 in September. Like, Rick, it's September now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's we don't have to wait very long. But he views it on this move that we could see gold at $4,400 and silver at $100 plus, right? And he's one of the smartest guys I know that tracks this stuff. It's like, man, that's amazing. Even if it's only half that, that's incredible growth from where we are, right? But as I continue to kind of dig in to the global geopolitical dynamics, what's happening, there's something big happening in China, which is absolutely massive. And that is,
hey, can I just ask one question before you go to the China thing? To me, this is a speculation. People were expecting him to finally reduce the rates, right? So the just like in stocks, if the market's already adjusted for what people were expecting, it's not going to have a move up or down because they've that moved, and silver moved up like crazy over the last month and a half, right? So
in anticipation
could that been part of it?
Coming. Prices could have already self-adjusted to what they knew that was coming, but I do think you don't see this kind of a drop down 90 cents in one day because of hopes being dashed, right? I think this is actually short covering that's happening. And
I
so,
got you. I got you.
so,
Okay.
so I actually I mean, you're right in the sense of that always happens, like literally 100% of the time. When there's a big announcement coming, people bet on it. And you can even go like, I looked at it today because I've never looked at it before. I went to this place, Polymarket, right? Where it's the betting site. And you can see that you can bet on everything. Like,
Yeah.
when is Trump going to who's he going to announce for the next Fed governor chair? How many of you think it's going to go up? Rates are going to go up or go down, right? And so people can bet on it, and a lot of money. It's wild. So it's like 91% of all the bettors thought that interest rates are coming down. They were right? So this is what people thought. So part of your statement, I think, is 100% accurate. It's like this was the expectation.
Yeah, and if you look at this, I'm just looking at the chart right now. It was at 37 on August 19th, and now it's at 41.72, even after the drop. Right?
Even after the drop,
right?
And it was literally at 43 yesterday,
Yeah,
right? So things are popping. But what's happening in China?
Mm-hmm.
So this is very interesting. So you've covered this a decent amount in the past. I've heard you, right? And I've talked about it some. Basel III, right? The International Financial Accord that made gold a tier 1 asset globally. So a lot of people think, oh, gold's a tier 1 asset. They're going to use it for currency. It's going to drive a price up. No, that's an incorrect assessment of what a tier 1 asset is. Tier 1 asset just means that central banks view it just on the same playing field as like currency, cash, sovereign bonds, right? It's the top of the heap. Now, it's not quite the top of the heap. There's one more level that most people never talk about, and that's an HQLA, a high quality liquid asset. That would be like cash, right? So China, the BRICS nations, they're wanting to take Basel III, tier 1 asset, put it on steroids, and it looks like they want to make gold a high quality liquid asset, which means they can use it as collateral for in the repo market. They can use it as currency to trade back and forth with other nations, even the BRICS nations, right? So massive amounts of demand. Well, what did they used to use? US dollars, right? So here's where the demand for gold coming from that one thing, because the BRICS nations is not small. It's like 70% of the world's population. You're going to have so much demand for metals. Silver's going to outperform because that's the stage that we're in, that this is possibly part of the rationale behind Jesse Colombo saying gold's going to hit 4,400 and silver over $100 an ounce. Rick, there are some big things happening politically, economically, geopolitically, socially. We're seeing, last week was a really hard week. I mean, it was just
no
rough,
question.
right? No question about it, right? But here's where God is a God of amazingness, beauty from ashes. And I think what happened to Charlie Kirk is awful as it was. I bawled for days. Literally, I cried, and I just found myself weeping, right? And it's like, feel sorry for Eric and the kids because she lost an amazing husband and an amazing dad, right? But here's where I think, what's God going to do with this? Right. America's waking up. I think Erica was right. She gave the best speech, most powerful speech I think I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. I don't know how she kept it together because I didn't.
Right.
But this is going to unite the movement. It's going to unite America. I think Turning Point's going to be bigger than it ever was because people are seeing the lies being exposed and the evil for what it is. And they really don't have any idea what they just did. They just fanned oxygen on the flame. And I think this is where, what does God do? He brings somebody else up that's going to be even a bigger voice. Maybe that's Erica, right? Because her speech was incredible. But here's where God's got plans for America, right? Financially, economically, politically, socially, lies are being exposed. Good things are coming, right? And financially, this is what the world I live in. Take advantage of these trends and the darkness that's getting darker and darker and darker. and at least your finances don't have to go down that road, right? You can do something good with them because the best is still yet to come for gold and silver. You haven't missed the boat. You've just missed the past, right? The best is still yet to come. And so take advantage of this. And it's one of those God moments in finance, I think, where we could see this move of wealth from the wicked to the righteous, and take advantage of it.
Yeah, and that is that's one reason I love your heart too. Is you love the Lord and you love the country, right? And so we were talking about you're a Christian nationalist. You, so that's, but so am I. I love my country. I love my God, and we also love preparing, right? So that's why Kirk offers a free financial consultation. You can, even if you have a U.S. bank, it can be international. So give him a call, 720-605-3900. Let them know Rick B2T sent you. They'll prioritize you. Again, you can go to kepm.com/B2T. That's I don't know why I have I forgot that this was supposed to be Dr. Kirk Elliott. I clicked. Let me get that off of there. But the whole point is go to Kirk Elliott. kepm.com/B2T down there at the bottom. You'll see that. But the greatest thing about that is you don't, it's not a one size fit all, right? You take people's input in of what they do and what their goals are, and you actually customize a little plan for them of how they could use precious metals to diversify, how they could use it. And if you have a big difference between you have a 401k or an IRA as an example. So talk to us a little bit about how you help.
Yeah. So IRAs are probably 70% of our business, right? It's like, and people don't realize, it's like, oh, I can put physical gold and silver in an IRA. Yeah, you can, right? So you just can't do it with your existing custodian. Yeah, you've done it, right? Yeah. So it's simple. It's just like a transfer, like any other transfer rollover. But when the funds get to the new custodian, we're going to put you into physical gold and silver bars, right? Or you can just use cash account, like a brokerage account, money you have in the bank, and own gold or silver outside of your IRA, right? Which you take delivery of at home, or you can set up a storage account if you don't have room for it at home or don't feel safe, right? So either way, we can handle it. There's not a right or a wrong answer. It's like, what do you want? We'll help you. We'll walk you through it. And so the process is just call us, 720-605-3900, say Rick sent you, or go to kepm.com/B2T and goes to the same place. One of my schedulers will talk to you, hear your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, your fears, what you want to do, and then we'll use that to strategize a road to success using tangible assets to hedge yourself against all these paper assets that are in decline. So it's a real simple process. We'd love to help out. And you know what? If you don't like what we say, don't do it. Just walk away. Right? It's like we're not pushy. We're here to give you wisdom that we have as freely, right? As much knowledge as you need to make a wise decision with your finances. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, just be careful, guys. There's a lot of dishonest people out there selling with a massive margin silver for all these supposed rare coins when they have no back end commission, very massively honest and upfront, so that when this goes up, you get all the proceeds up, right? You don't pay any back end commission. And so and they work with bullion, give you the most amount of silver for the least amount of price. That's the most liquid that you could sell within 3 or 4 days. It was really simple. So it's all liquid. Yep. I just love this type of investment. So thank you, Kirk, for coming and talking to us. And I always like to end with this, guys. This is nothing compared to when the Babylonian system crashes. So that's when these little vortex things you're talking about don't matter at all, right? Yeah. All right. God bless you, Kirk. Thanks so much.
God bless.
You have a good
We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Guys, that's what excites me is when you just look at the fact that we have the potential to just really explode, right? We're out of time, but I wanted to just go over a few more things real quick. Is again, call Kirk at 720-605-3900. Get a free consultation from him, and we're going to go over to the praise and prayer is what we're going to do. See if I can find that in the Word and Worship channel. So actually, tonight's Wednesday. So I'm going to be teaching tonight on that channel about the prophecies of ancient nations and how they clearly show the Bible as a supernatural book that you can trust. I mean, it's a living and active word. And we're going to be talking about the siege of Alexander the Great over Tyre, Tyre, the ancient city. I think you'll really enjoy that. So I'll be over there in about 10 minutes. So join us over there with all the backstage crew. Again, it's going to be the Word right here, Word with the N Worship channel. That is where we are going to be. Because of music licensing, we had to move off of this channel. And so if you want to, and the Word and Worship is about worshiping the Lord with this beautiful music, and then with the little short teachings in between the beautiful music. That's what we're going to do right now for the next hour and a half or so over at the Word and Worship channel. Word and Worship on Rumble only and Faith and Freedom TV, the only two places you're going to find it. And on Faith and Freedom TV, it's on the Word and Worship live channel as an event. Okay, pretty easy to find. God bless y'all. We'll see you shortly.
Elitist media deceives, but Faith and Freedom TV amplifies truth. Our world-leading platform delivers news, teachings, worship, movies, and music rooted in biblical values and constitutional patriotism, inspiring faith and liberty. We inspire, equip, and amplify Christian patriots to share powerful stories of faith, family, and freedom. With live events, thousands of on-demand videos, and access on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android, and iOS, we're transforming culture globally for God and country. New content is coming to ignite faith. Join our mission to counter deception. Visit faithandfreedom.tv and download the Faith and Freedom TV app today.